Hey guys, this is Chase Tyler, and you are listening to Local Leaders, the podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Local Leaders, the podcast. I am Jim Chapman, your host, and sitting across from me today is Mr. Brian Ogle. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. What about yourself?
I'm just ready to talk about the detail business.
That's what I'm talking about. You and me both.
That's right. I think you would never get tired of talking about the detail business.
Absolutely not. That's what brings in more customers.
That's right. Brian owns Ogles Custom Detail, and that's a local Livingston Parish based business. And let me tell you, when this show is over, you're going to see what I'm talking about. This dude is passionate about cleaning cars. You hear me? Passionate. And he don't just clean cars. They do all kinds of stuff. We're going to get into all of that and let all of you give you a little more information on exactly what details entail. How you like that?
I like that. I like how you smooth into that.
That's right. I didn't even script that part out. We're going to get into all that, and we're also going to get into a little about, your personal life outside of detailing. You're a married father of 4?
Yes, sir, I am.
Wow, and you only look like you're about 20, bro.
Oh, yeah, you better quit lying. They can see us on camera.
That's so right. I forgot we're airing over here.
Yeah, we're on camera. Don't lie to these people now.
So you're a married father of 4, and are you from Livingston Parish?
So I'm actually not from Livingston Parish. I'm from the Zachary area.
Zachary, okay.
Yeah, I am.
Go Broncos.
Yes, maybe. Yes. I went to Zachary for my entire life pretty much, and my wife is from Livingston Parish.
There you go.
So she wanted to move closer to her family, so we wound up, the schools are much better in Livingston Parish. So
100%.
Yeah, so we wound up moving out here, and now we actually have 2, so I have a son and a daughter, and then we have custody of our 2 nephews as well too.
Okay,
so,
excellent.
So yeah, but we just call them all our kids. They're all our kids.
They pretty much are.
They're all our kids.
When you got to feed them, you realize it for sure,
exactly.
right?
When you got to pay for them, they're your kids.
That's it. So how long have you been out in this area?
So we moved out here. Let's see. Peyton is going to be 12, so right around 13 years ago, I would say we moved out.
Pretty much from out here.
Yeah.
After that amount of time.
Yeah, we've set in, call me a Koyelian or however they say.
That's right. Koyelian, I like it.
Right.
I like it. And of course, your business is here locally as well. You like to hunt and fish?
I do. I grew up fishing. My dad was a big fisherman. Then moved out here, and there's so much hunting land. Started hunting a lot, and I actually killed my first deer with my father-in-law.
Come on.
Yeah, so we actually have a hunting lease behind the house, so it's really convenient. So
that ain't bad at all. You just wake up, grab your gun, and go outside.
Go. Yeah, there you go.
Man, that's nice. And of course, you like anything car related.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine that.
That's why we got into it, because we love cars.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you make it your life's work.
We do.
Which is interesting. So we're definitely going to get into all the things that Ogle.
Oh,
How you like that? I just changed it.
Ogle.
Ogle. I'm going to edit that out. Ogle Custom Detail does in the way of beautifying automobiles. But I want to discuss a little bit more about you relative to your experience in details. You've been messing with cars a long time, Brian.
Oh man, so it starts at a young age. My dad was actually amazing with small engines. So he taught me all about small engines, and when you're younger, you get dirt bikes, and 3-wheelers were huge back when I was growing up, but 3-wheelers broke a lot.
Yeah.
So luckily, I was always the guy that called to tune the carburetor, and we changed rings and pistons and things like that. Well,
it's interesting, not to interrupt you, but 3-wheelers just don't exist. I mean, now it's 4-wheelers, right? But I used to have a big red. Remember those?
Oh, those things are worth a fortune now. Well, they actually have a guy. His name is, I think, Travis Gisclair, one of those. He's out in Cutoff, and he actually restores those things now, and he makes very good money off of restoring those hard to find ones.
No kidding.
Yeah, so like the 250Rs and 250Xs and all those, yeah.
Yeah, I had 3 or 4 of those 3-wheelers, and it's funny that I mean they're kind of like death traps in a way.
Death machines is what we call them now. Yeah,
I ran into many a tree, bent many a fork. You hit the brakes, and you better hit it like half a mile before you need to stop.
I mean, but back in the day, I was telling somebody the other day. I said, we didn't have YouTube and the internet and all. You didn't have these smartphones at your fingertips. So how you learn to work on things?
That's right.
You started tearing stuff down, and either you put it back together right, or you put it back together wrong.
That's right.
So it started at that age, and then my uncle, he was real big into mechanics on cars and trucks, and he actually worked on some bigger vehicles as well too. So I got with him, and he started teaching me that aspect. And when I was around 16, I got a job at it's a salvage yard is pretty much what it was. And my first job was to tear tires down all day long off of rims.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that was
fun.
That was a horrible job. Yeah. I mean, horrible. But from there, it was a good way to get my foot in the door. And so I started, and I actually got a chance from, just working hard and digging in. I got to the paint and body side. And I learned a lot on the paint and body side about how the paint works, how it responds, how we clarify it, how we get the haze out. And from there, it kind of just grew and grew and grew,
Boy, it sure did.
Yeah.
And you got that education from the bottom up. And so that's always beneficial. Now, I want to mention you're based in Satsuma.
We are.
As we said earlier, Livingston Parish-based business. And how long have you been in business with Ogles?
So we started our business actually in 2015. So we've been around a good minute, and when we started, there actually wasn't a whole lot of detailers in there. You had a couple big hitters in Baton Rouge and Gonzales, but in Livingston itself, you actually didn't really have anybody. So I was like, there's a market here, let's do it. And we started, and we got certified through a couple branches and moving up. And my big thing is always very competitive.
Yeah.
So I want to be the best at what I do. So I would do more training. I would learn more. I would ask more people. I'd ask people that've been in the game for 15 years, hey, what do you do? You do this. And he was like, oh yeah, they had a guy in Lafayette. He was a very good mentor.
Yeah.
And my buddy he's actually in the Slidell area.
Okay.
He was a very good mentor as well too. So
yeah, that's kind of priceless to have.
Absolutely.
When you're starting any business, but these people that are like mentors, especially when they know, they've kind of been there, done that in that business. Exactly. They can teach you things not to do that they maybe had to learn the hard way.
That's the best advice there.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, seek out as much education as you can and talk to as many people as you can that are in the business, whatever it is you're doing, because they probably, figured out some ways to get around some hurdles.
100%.
You can either learn it the hard way or just ask.
100%. There you go.
That's right. So prior to opening, check this out, y'all, OCD. Look, this is the best. Huh? I love it. It is the best acronym for his business. Obviously, it's Ogles Custom Detail, OCD. And he is very OCD on detailing cars. So we're going to get into more of that. But there was a point in time you're working for your uncles and all those sorts of people, and you're learning, the steps to that eventually led you to do what you do now. My question would be, what actually was the point where you said, I want to go ahead and just open up OCD? Sandra Richard has been in the business of selling homes for over 20 years. This award-winning realtor brings the perfect blend of professionalism, integrity, and client satisfaction to every buying and selling transaction. A passion for both her clients and her community makes Sandra the perfect choice when buying or selling your home. So if you're in need, call the Cajun Lady, Sandra Richard, at 225-955-5484, or visit her on the web at sandrasellshouses.com. Sandra Richard, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
So I guess the easiest way to explain it. So I had a red Nissan Titan at the time, and it was a 2010 model. And I remember I drove through it was a Chick-fil-A or a Raising Cane's parking lot, and the woman looked at the car. This was like 2015 or 2014. I had just cleaned it. You know, it looked good. She pulled up. She said, "Oh, I thought that was a brand new truck." And I was like, "Man, I must be pretty good at this. I mean, this truck's 5 years old." And she legit was looking for a paper tag in the back of it. So I'm like, man, I must be okay with it. So I went home and I talked to my wife and I said, you know what? I really think that there's a market here and I could do something with it.
Now, where were you at the time?
So as far as like what you mean?
Like work.
So I was working for the state.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, you know, on the weekends I can do it, make a little extra money, you know, passive income.
Yeah.
And, I remember I went online and spent, it was $392 or something like that. And I said, I'm going to buy just enough stuff. And I told her, I said, when I pay this off, I'm going to be done. Don't have to worry about it, you know, but I'll have some extra stuff when I want to clean my truck. And man, it just piled in. It was, you know, her uncles, then her aunts, then, you know, then word of mouth. Oh, he's really good. You know, it was distant cousins. And then other people would hear about me. And then it was just, it grew and it grew. And I looked at her and I said, we're going to have to get insured and licensed if we're doing this kind of project.
You're kind of like growing so fast. You're like, man, we might need to get legal.
Yeah, and that was like my first worry. I was like, you know, because people don't realize these cars nowadays are like $80,000 to $100,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, yeah, I'm cleaning your car, but if I spray the wrong cleaner on your seat and I ruin your seat, that's probably $3,000.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, so if you're not licensed and insured, what a lot of people do is, you know, we say they have a lot of car washers, but very few detailers is normally how I say it. You know, there's a ton of people that wash cars, but because detailing can take hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've misconstrued the definition of detailing over the time, and a car wash does take 35, 40 minutes. I can wash your car in 35, 40 minutes, vacuum wipe it down, okay. But if I want to detail and actually get every crack and crevice and shampoo your seats and your carpet and clean your headliner and clean your fender wells and your engine bay, you're talking about almost a whole day ordeal.
Well, and let's talk about that for a second. So you're right. I mean, they've got hand car washes, let's call them, that in, you know, spots in the community or whatever, but they're not an actual detail. There's a big difference. And I don't want you really to go into the service aspect of everything you do, because I'm going to kind of walk you through that. But there is a visual difference there.
Correct.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's important that people understand they're totally different things, and the time involved in those
correct
reflects, you know. Correct. You're talking several hours versus 45 minutes or something like that. And lastly on that is the lasting aspect of it.
There you go.
I would imagine.
There you go.
So we'll get into that a little bit as well. Now you're doing this, you're rocking and rolling, you're getting insurance and all of this sort of stuff because you're so busy you can't see straight and so to speak. And at some point, you're still working for the state at this time. Yeah. So at some point, when did you decide, you know, I'm going to go ahead and really jump in with both feet on that?
It kind of, you know, it's kind of one of those decisions, but you just kind of go with it and you make it happen, and you're nervous, but it's one of those things you do, and you kind of don't look back, you know.
That's it. You kind of jump off the cliff a little bit.
It's a scary decision.
Yeah, but I'm sure in the back of your mind you had a lot of faith that, hey man, this is going to work.
Oh, absolutely.
I love doing it, and you know, there's people out there. There's painters and there's people that love to paint, right? But there's only 2 degrees there. You either love it or you hate it.
Correct.
There's not really I don't mind painting.
Yeah, no, it's
same thing with what you do.
Absolutely.
I hate washing a car.
Absolutely, and a lot of people don't like washing the car.
And then there's people like you that you'd rather do nothing else than wash a car.
That's my therapy.
That's your therapy. That's right. And so that's something about you that's important to convey, is you take a lot of pride in what you do.
Absolutely.
It's not a money grab for you.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to get into all that. So let's talk about some of the services that you offer. And man, let me tell you, I went through your Facebook and I was just looking at all the things you do. And I'm like, man, half the stuff, and we met and talked for about an hour, and half the stuff I didn't even know you did. I'm like, wow, this is great. And I probably need about half of it. So first we're going to talk about your decontamination wash. What is a decontamination wash?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked that question because so pretty much what it boils down to is when you wash a car, you don't actually really wash a car. You just kind of scrape the surface of washing a car. It's kind of like if you're really dirty, you got to go in and actually scrub your skin to get all the nasty dirt and all that off. So it's very similar in that aspect. Your paint has pores in it. So it holds stuff like salt and road debris and dirt and clay and all that kind of stuff. So what we do when we call it a decontamination wash is we actually strip all of that off before we even go past, adding a protective layer or polishing or correcting the paint. And that is very important because it's like spraying cologne on a dirty body.
Yeah.
If I don't clean your car properly and I just throw some wax on it, in a day it's going to be gone. 2 days it's going to be gone because it doesn't have anything to bond to.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah, it gets super scientific and chemical and all that. I'm not going to try to go down that rabbit hole because it can get crazy on how much that is involved with it.
Yeah, I can imagine, and you're like a walking dictionary for it. I mean, you got tons of certifications which we're going to talk about, and one of those is a PTFE coating that you and what does that acronym stand for?
Man, so that is the newest thing on the block. That's polytetrene fluoroethylene.
There you go. Say that 5 times fast.
Right. So actually what it means is it's a Teflon coating.
Mm-hmm.
So very similar to the Teflon coatings that you have on your pots and pans and cooking utensils. It's rated at a high heat, high abrasiveness. So what it can do is it can withstand a long period of time. So through the evolution of, protective surfaces on cars, we've had waxes. Everybody knows a wax.
Sure.
That's the most important. Everybody will call me, I want to wash in a wax. And then you kind of have to explain to them that, hey, there's more than just wax nowadays. And then you break it down, there's sealants.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing. And then you had ceramic coatings come along. And then that's the big trigger word now. Everybody knows ceramic coating. Well, now we have a new thing on the block. And it's a graphene came along, but this guy invented what's called a PTFE coating. Yeah. And it is extremely slick. It is super durable, and it actually has ultraviolet protection in it, which a lot of ceramic-based coatings don't offer.
Yeah.
Because of the SiO2 involved in a ceramic-based is a little different than a PTFE.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So like I said, you get into chemicals. It goes all over the scale.
There's a rabbit hole there.
It is a rabbit hole, but...
Now, let me ask, do you have to be certified to apply that coating?
So that coating is actually one of the few that you don't have to be certified. All the other coatings that we offer, you do have to be certified and you have to be licensed and insured. So this guy actually, Joel Accardia is his name. He's a great guy. He was actually one of the big cheeses at Ceramic Pro for a long time, and everybody knows Ceramic Pro.
Yeah.
Well, he came to him and he was like, I think I have a good idea. And they said, I don't think we want to go with this. So he branched out and started his own business. So he's kind of like us.
Yeah.
He was working a very good, lucrative job, and then he bailed off. And that's a big decision. You're going into a big market too with heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So he said, I don't really want to make it to where you have to be certified, but I am going to go through and make sure you know what you're doing.
Right.
And so he does that very well.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the other coatings that you offer that maybe you do require certifications for.
Yes.
Kind of take us through that road.
So we offer SB3 coatings. So Trinity Coatings, we are actually one of 4 people in all of Louisiana that can only install that coating. That is a hands-on 2-day class that you have to go to be able to be certified for this coating.
Yeah.
You also have to be licensed and insured with so many years of experience.
And what makes that coating special?
So that coating is actually a 3-part system. So as you move on to more parts involved with the coating, it becomes much more complex to install and remove.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure you know what you're doing, because with the warranty, when you get them involved with the warranty, they have to pay.
That's right.
So, I mean, that company wants to make sure that you know what you're doing. So if you're going to throw this coating down, hey, look, if I'm going to warranty it, I want to make sure you're not out there just messing cars up. And then the company's forking out $1,000 to fix it.
That's right. And look, they're very stringent on that. So
Yes,
if it's
they
not
are.
done properly, they're not going to honor it. It's kind of like in the
Correct.
paint world that I used to be in. If we warranted a coating and you did not prime that wall before you painted it,
There you go.
you didn't follow the process, and
you
so
go.
there is no warranty at that point.
That's 100% correct. And he actually wanted to keep that coating. Barry Thiel's the guy that owns SB3, and that is all only accreditations to get through there. So you can't just be anybody installing SB3 coatings. And he actually wanted Trinity to be one of the prestigious coatings.
Yeah.
So he said, when we went to class, he said there will only be 3 or 4 installers in each state that can install this coating.
Yeah.
So that
And is that a ceramic coating?
that's a ceramic base coating.
And I want to ask you also, for people that, I mean, they have no idea what a ceramic coating is. What advantage does that give you, or what does that do to your vehicle? Does it just bring the life back in the paint, or does it protect it for a certain length of time?
The biggest thing about a ceramic coating is the ease of maintenance.
Yeah.
So, your car is going to stay cleaner much longer, and it's going to be much easier to clean when you do it. So these cars are getting bigger and bigger. They're not making them smaller.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
you got that right. Yeah, I got a pretty big one out there.
yeah, I mean, like your Hummer is a prime example. How much fun is it to wash that mini school bus? It's not fun.
That's right.
Okay, but if I can take a pressure washer out there and rinse it off and get 80% of the dirt off, I'm good. I don't have to go out there and wash it for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that's what these coatings present. But I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing, and where a lot of people mess up is prep is key with all these. You can have the best coating in the world, but if you don't prep the paint correctly,
That's
it
right.
doesn't matter.
That's right. 100%.
And that's that's where we take our pride. We spend we're a little more expensive than your guy down the road.
Yeah.
But we correct the paint. And I mean, if you go in our Facebook page, which, if anybody wants to check that out, Ogles Custom
Yeah.
Detailing.
yeah. We're going to shout that out. We're going to link that to this video.
If anybody actually wants to go look at that, you can see when we're doing the correction process, we have lights kind of similar to these, very bright lights to kind of show what the sun would look like reflected on every piece of the panel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. So when you come in and you look at your car from every aspect, you're like, oh, it looks really good, because what gives you a really great looking, glossy, shiny panel is actually flat paint.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I tell people it's like a river. When a river's flat, it's so bright you can't look across it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If waves are across it, you can look across it all day long.
Yeah.
Your paint's the same way.
Yeah.
So if I get your paint really flat and it's really reflective and glossy, it'll stay that way, and then we protect it.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
That's
the key
interesting.
to- yeah.
Man, y'all figuring out this dude knows some stuff. This dude knows some stuff. And the important thing is the certifications that you have. This is a lot of education. This is a lot of expense too. I mean, I'm
Correct.
sure they don't give you this for free.
No, absolutely. No, and the Trinity one too is you actually had to go to, they have base classes. So this one was in Florida, so we had to travel to Florida, and then the class itself costs money.
Yeah.
So, it's a 2-day class. You got to pay to take the class. Then you have to buy the coating itself. The coating is probably one of the more expensive high-end coatings we offer.
Yeah.
So it's a little higher price. So yes, it is
But
definitely.
you get what you pay for,
That's
right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's
Tell people
right.
that all the time.
That's right. So be confident there. This might be the most educated guy I've ever met on vehicle detail. I'm telling you,
that.
he takes a lot of pride in it. Now, you have a paint enhancement polish.
I do. And
me
that
about that.
fits probably 80% of most people what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So you come to me and you're like, Brian, and the thing we have to tell ourselves, so like you're a podcaster, technical terms that I don't know.
Sure.
So if you start throwing those technical terms around them, I have no idea. I'm lost.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way. I have a ton of technical terms I start throwing around. You look at me like, I have no idea what
Yeah.
you're even talking about. So sometimes we have to strip it down. And yeah, we might sound smarter saying all these fancy words, but the customer has no idea what we're talking about.
You lost them.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you got to speak with your customer and be like, hey, do you want your paint to look really good? And do you want to remove just so many defects and spend less money? Yeah, that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So that's our paint enhancement polish. And now some of the higher end cars are like, I want, flawless. I want 90 to 95% defects removal. Okay, well, that's a paint correction.
Yeah.
That's where we actually correct the paint.
And you do actually do that service as well.
Yes, we do a lot of that. That's probably one of our most sought after packages, the paint correction package.
And when you say paint correction, give me like an example of a vehicle that would require that service, like a lot of scratches on their vehicle, or
yeah. So we get a lot of people. So and not knocking anybody that goes through a car wash. I don't mean any offense to them, but car wash brushes are very abrasive.
Yeah.
I mean, if you feel them when they're hitting your car when you're going through a tunnel wash. I mean, they'll bend your mirrors back. I mean, they have a lot of force behind them. So it's equivalent. So, and what that does, that puts a lot of marring and puts a lot of spider webbing and swirls in your paint.
Yeah.
So if you're like, hey, look, I'm going to hand wash it from now on. I don't want to go through the car wash anymore. I want it to look like the day I bought it. You bring it in and you're like, okay, well, we can do that. And then what I tell people, if we're going to do that, let's go ahead and put something on top of it. That way it's going to make it easier, but you don't have to worry about, putting a sealant or wax on this thing for the next 6 months or a year or 2 years or 3 years or even, upwards of 5 years if you want.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah,
man.
it is. It's a big thing.
That's huge. And you're right. They'll put these almost little small swirls, I don't know how to describe it, but little, not scratches per se, but just a kind of abuse line.
Yes. Oh. We call them love marks. So we call them.
There you go. That's a great term.
Yeah, we call them love marks.
Yeah. So y'all can handle that and make it look, like it rolled off showroom.
We do. We do a lot of that.
Amazing. Now, you also offer debadging services.
We do, man. Debadging has become a big thing. Everybody wants to, take the letters off. And so we do that. We also do rebadging as well, too. A lot of people, so with the newer vehicles, they have, so if you have a chrome Z71 on side of your truck and you want a black one, we can actually remove the original badge and we can put a black Z71 one on there. So a truck we actually did this past weekend, we removed his original trail boss and we put a black trail boss on the back of his bed. He wanted to kind of black it all out. He didn't want the chrome. We did a vinyl inlay on the back to get rid of the chrome around the bow tie because they don't offer a black full bow tie for the back. So we did a custom-made vinyl inlay on the back. Fender badge we removed and put back a black one. So now it's pretty much all matching.
Now, here's a question for you related to that. Let's say I had a Hummer, and let's say that Hummer
is it yellow?
And let's say it was yellow. And let's say it had a, I don't know what you call it on the front, the deal on the front that's chrome.
The bumper guard?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So let's say it had that, and I wanted to make that black. Okay. Because right now the big thing is blacked out.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody wants.
They don't want the chrome; they want the black.
Murdered out, no chrome.
Yeah. So is that something you could do? You could take that.
You know it. I mean, so all right. So here's the thing.
I was hoping you would say no.
So things like that. Actually, what we do a lot of, Mr. Robert right down the road that owns Premier Credit, we did his, and we actually sprayed it with bed liners. So we do bed liners as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So what we'll do is bed liners can take a lot of abuse. So with being on the front of your Hummer, just in case you ever want to use it again. So if we do like a vinyl or we paint it, if you ever need to use it to push something, you're probably going to scratch it all up.
Yeah.
Now, if we spray with a bed liner, you can go run into a tree if you want, and you probably won't damage it at all, other than bend the metal.
Right.
But the bed liner itself will still be there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
we'll have to talk about that after the show. Glass polishing services.
Water spots. God, I hate water spots on glass. I can't stand it.
And you almost can't get them off
unless
you're you.
Yeah, unless
the layman cannot get them off.
See, you know what? It took me years. So they have an old joke, and it's a guy. it's a mechanic. He goes down and the captain can't get the boat to start, and he goes down and he hits this thing on this engine and the motor starts right up.
Yeah.
And the guy sends him the bill and he's all like $15,000. And the captain goes to him and he's like, why is it $15,000? He said, I want an itemized breakdown. And it was like $50 for the hammer and then like $14,950 for knowing where to hit the engine. And you know, that's good. That's what it boils down to. It meant years and years and years of trying different things, learning different methods, doing this. Well, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. You know, and finally you find something. And you're like, okay. And during this process, you know, you're trying different brands, you're trying different pads, you're trying different chemicals, all this kind of stuff. And most of the things that we use aren't available to the public.
Yeah.
You know, they're concentrated, but they're made specifically for somebody that knows how to lower or raise a pH scale and knows what to do with the chemical, because some of these chemicals can have really bad effects if used incorrectly, like really bad.
Yeah.
So you got to know what you're doing and you got to use it in a timely manner. But if you use it correctly, the results are amazing.
100%.
Yes.
And on that point, I'll give you another good little comical thing on that. I locked my keys in my house one time, and I had to call like a locksmith to come over there and do it. So he went over there, and he got out of his car, and he had this kit, and he walks up to my door, and he goes, pink, and it
pops it right open.
And I said, and he's like, that'll be $100. And I'm like, it took you like 30 seconds. And he said, but you're not paying for the 30 seconds it took me to do it. You're paying for the 15 years it took me to learn to do it.
There you go. And, you know, I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. I was like, touche, man. Yeah. So that's right. I mean, it's there's a lot of education behind what you do and a lot of expense and things like that. And so, but it still takes you a while to get them right and in the way you like them, because you're a little OCD.
Oh God, I'm so, yes.
Imagine that acronym fitting your business.
Yeah.
So here's another interesting thing you do. You do aftermarket taillight installs.
We do. So we just did a Honda.
It's a big thing.
Yeah. So a lot of people, you know, the aftermarket thing is kind of big right now. And so as I worked so I started off, you know, I was doing paint body work, and then so I actually got a job spraying bed liners.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I did for 2 years straight.
Yeah. That was a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, it still is big.
We were shooting all the liners for Jerry Lane.
Yeah.
For Robinson Brothers. I mean, we were,
wow.
Yeah, we were distributor for the car lots. So I was picking them up, prepping them, spraying the liners, returning them back, you know, and this was 2 years consistently. A guy that worked on the other side, this is a classic conversions, a guy worked on the other side, he did the leather interiors.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I want to learn how to do that.
Imagine that.
I know, right? I was like, oh, I want to learn something else.
Yeah.
So he was like, dude, come in. They were doing a Chevy Silverado. So I sat there and I was paying attention to it. And in the same aspect, we did a little bit of everything. You know, over there, they did tinting. They would add sunroofs. They could add the fins on the back, I mean, and all that. And I worked the truck stuff as well, where we kind of got involved with all of that. Accessories were a big thing. So I got in Livingston, and I was like, I didn't really see a huge market for it.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a big market, you know, because everybody kind of has a jacked up truck with, you know, mud tires on it. I was like, I don't think there's much of that. And then people were like, hey, do you offer this? Hey, do you offer that? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's amazing, you know, your vast knowledge of a lot of things when it comes to vehicles. And that's a big advantage to you over you know, a lot of people that do the same thing.
Yeah, correct.
Is some of them may be quite knowledgeable on details, but you know, you get into like debadging and they're like, I don't want to touch that. Yeah. And so that is a big advantage to doing business with you. Is that even when you're washing a vehicle, I'm sure it happens all the time. You're putting the coatings on there, you're cleaning it up, and you're like, you see something that maybe they didn't see.
100%.
Yeah. And so when you know how to do it, when you know how to fix it, it's an easy thing to bring up, right?
On that note, I had a customer, I did his truck. It was a brand new GMC. He had some problems. He brought it back to the dealership. He said, I want to bring my truck back to you and let you look at it because you know it better than I do.
Yeah.
I was like, go out and right there. So
that's got to make you feel good. There you go. Yeah. And another thing you do Of course, you do spoiler installs, so you can take care of that with people. Vent visor installs.
Vent visors, yes.
Yeah, take care of that. How about let's talk about trim restoration real quick, because
Trim
this is something. Yeah, that's something that even on my Hummer. It has all that, I guess, plastic or rubber on the outside.
Correct.
That over time that really fades, loses all its gloss, then it starts to kind of gray over and looks old at that point.
You want me to throw a $5 word at you?
Yes.
Ultraviolet degradation.
Yeah, there you go. That's your word for the day.
Here's your word for the day, people.
So it degrades, and so the good thing is that you don't have to replace that whole piece. You
Correct.
can actually bring it back to life, right?
That's right.
And you do that?
Yes, sir, we do.
You see that a lot?
Yeah, we actually, so on Hummers are actually very common.
Yeah.
The plastic, because Hummers have a lot of plastic.
Yeah.
Like a ton of plastic.
Yeah.
The GMCs, but a lot of people's wiper cowls in the front, like the hood cowls, are real common. Bumpers. We do a lot of F-250s and things like that are real common. And then what we actually do when we restore it is not only will you add a trim restoration agent to it. So it's not like a paint, but it's kind of like a film you put over the top of it that stains it back black.
Yep.
So similar to a paint, but not. Then you let that cure, and then you actually coat it on top of it. So you put a protective coating on top of it so it'll stay. So remember how you're talking about preserve, it won't look like that again in a week. Mm-hmm. It'll be like that for months or years.
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, 100%. So if you got that issue, that'd be a man you want to call right here. How about headlights that the water gets in them and they need to be restored, basically?
Yeah, so the headlight restoration is probably that is my wife's big thing. She hates chalky headlights.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
And these headlights, even aftermarket now, are like $250, $300. So we offer a headlight restoration for it's only $75.
Yeah,
and it has a 1-year warranty on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll restore your headlights, and you can go check our page out, Ogles Facebook Custom Detailing. You can go check us out. We have a ton of pictures on there about some of the ones that we've done.
Yes. And that's important to mention on his Facebook as well. He has pictures of their completed jobs. So, you have a F-150 or something like that that you did some work on, you'll post it and,
Correct.
Hey, look at this beautiful vehicle.
Yep,
look
correct.
how it came in. Look how it went out, that kind of thing. So you can kind of get a good idea of his work. I'm telling you, it's very impressive. You also do bed liners, as we mentioned. So if you need bed liners, he can hook you up there.
And a lot of people actually don't even know that we do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do now.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
The advantage of a podcast. Now you're going to get 900 calls, hopefully. Here's a good one. So headliners, and I'm going to ask you this without actually knowing if you do it or not, but they'll start to sag and they'll, I guess the glue will separate and they'll start coming down. What do you do? Do you help with that?
So we can touch up some areas, but when it gets like that, Chevys are the most common, and the foam itself is degraded so much. There's not a whole lot you can really do with it other than replace the headliner. So we'll tell people, we'll be like, hey, look, we can kind of tack it back up, but it's kind of a Band-Aid solution. We normally don't even charge them for it, just because most of the time it'll fall in front of the visors and you can't really see.
Yeah.
So, we'll sit there and we'll tack it back up and we'll be like, hey, look, but you got to bring it to somebody who specializes in straight upholstery.
Yeah.
Because they have to strip the whole headliner back down to foam board and then they have to replace that pretty much everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you probably have somebody you could refer though. In that situation.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, good deal. How about vehicle wraps are a big thing right now, and I know you don't actually do wraps.
Oh, you're bringing it into 2022, huh?
But let's say someone had a wrap and then they close their business and they want to remove it. Do you do that?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. So we can remove wraps, and also this year we will be pushing to We actually bought some wrap material. I have 2 rolls that I'm about to start playing with, and I want to find a class. Finding classes now due to COVID is much harder than it was before.
Yeah.
So it's not like it used to be. They would have classes, in Florida and Indiana and Georgia and Alabama. They don't have those. So
and it's a huge thing, man. It's a mobile billboard. I see some wraps that are so neat and intricate, they just catch your eye.
They do.
And I'm like, man, that is great. You can't beat that advertising.
No, you can't.
Every time you jump in your car, people seeing your company go down the road.
Hopefully 2022 we'll start doing some wraps.
Yeah, good deal. Well, let me know when you do, because I may be getting mine wrapped in the future here. So that'd be a great thing. Now, tent removal, how about that? You do that?
Yeah, we do that, and we don't charge near as much as what a tent shop would do. So, so tent shops
go.
Yeah, tent shops. So remember, before you go get yours tented, if you have tent on there, previous tent, we can remove it for probably about half or a quarter of what a tent shop's going to do, because tent shop is volume.
Yeah.
They're trying to push out as much as they can, whereas while your vehicle is there, we're focusing more on quality.
Yeah.
So we can take our time, remove all the glue, and save you some money when you bring it to the tent shop to get it retented.
Very good. Very good. So they'll take care of that. And I know some people have issues where their tent's a little bit too dark and it becomes illegal.
Yeah.
And then they get a ticket and it's like, you got to remove it. And so this would be a person you could call and say, hey man, I just need it off of here. I got busted or whatever. And you can take care of that for them. So that's a good thing. Now, you offer packages, I would imagine. Like I know one of them I saw on your Facebook was a VIP package.
Yeah, you like that, huh?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Look, I'm all about the VIP treatment.
Hey, you're a very important person. There you go.
I don't know, not at all. But tell me what your packages kind of entail.
So we cover all the way from we call it an express package. I actually recently changed them because I made them way too complicated. Like we were speaking earlier, I mean, it's like you're like, oh, I want to try to show people everything they get, and people would go through and they'd be like, I don't quite understand. I'm having a hard time. So I broke it down about 2 weeks ago, and I made it pretty simple. We have an express, which is kind of your quick. We'll do a vacuum, a wipe down, we'll clean your glass, we'll dress your tires. More of in the car wash aspect.
Yes.
That's what we would call a car wash. That's why it's called an express package. Mm-hmm. Then you have a silver package, which is a little more involved. That's where you get to your decontamination wash. We'll actually bring a little bit of shine back to your paint, spend a little more time removing things and stuff like that. And then you have our gold package, which our gold package is probably one of the most sold packages.
Yeah.
And that's the one where we'll polish the paint and we'll shampoo the carpet and the seats, and we'll remove stains out the headliners, clean the glass, dress everything. And I mean, then you have our VIP package, which is that's if you have a $90,000, $100,000 truck, and you bring it in, you're like, hey, I want the best of the best.
Yeah.
That's our VIP package. You get everything. That's normally a coating involved with it. We'll normally coat your tires, like your running boards, your glass, your paint, your interior. We'll do a full-blown interior detail. We'll correct the paint. I mean, it's a full-blown.
It's an in-depth thing.
It is. Takes 2 to 3 days to complete that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You really do get into it with that.
Yeah, that's about a 2 to 3 day ordeal to do that one.
Awesome. Now, say someone comes in and they have a relatively new vehicle, but they're wanting that express package because they hate to, wash their own vehicle.
Yeah.
And all of that. I'm sure you get that. What is the time frame typically for like an express package?
So an express package, a moderately dirty car, not real bad. We can normally do in 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's not bad. And we still try to give you a clean car when you get it. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to look really good. And that's where I have a hard time. And I'll normally try to deter people away from the express package, as bad as it is to say, because my OCD kicks in so bad. And I'm like, oh,
you want to do it anyway, don't you?
I can't let it go like that. I can't let it go like that. You really got to hold yourself back. But in a business aspect, you have to learn That you know, and it's really hard sometimes in saying, God, I really hate, you know, and then hey, you sure you don't want to shampoo the seats? No, I don't want to shampoo the seats, you know, and you look at me like, oh, I could really shampoo the seats. But, so you got to kind of learn, you know, the years go by. But
that's awesome. Yeah. Well, you're right. And especially someone that takes a lot of pride in what they do. It's like, hey, man, I really want to hit this with a shampooer. But it's all about time. And
it is.
And that's the thing. You've got to be compensated for that time. Cabin filters. Let's talk about them for a minute. So a lot of people, they might have like pets in their car. Let's say their pet rides around with them all the time. And this is kind of a twofold question. Number one, that can produce a smell. Or if they're a smoker,
Correct.
that can produce obviously a smell. In addition to that, you have, if it's a pet, especially, you'll have pet hair maybe getting that upholstery and all that kind of thing. I would imagine this is a perfect opportunity for them to call you and you can take care of that pet hair, no problem, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And so on a lot of our packages where we shampoo and we thoroughly clean the car, I'll tell the customer, I'll be like, hey, look, do you want me to, I'll change the cabin air filter for them, and I normally just charge, unless it's an extensive, most of them are pretty easy to change. I can change them in 5 minutes because I have a very good mechanical background, so it takes 5 minutes to pop it out, change the cabin air filter. I'll be like, hey, cabin air filter is $15, you just pay me $15, I'll change it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so if I clean your car really, really well and you kick that recirculate button on for your AC, that air filter, that air is running right through that dirty cabin air filter and circulating right back. So you know, if you're going to spend,
still going to have that smell.
So if you're going to spend the money to clean your car, go ahead and change your cabin air filter. I tell everybody that.
100% agree with that. And y'all can definitely take care of that for people as well. Now, it's important to mention that there's a lot of detail services out there. Some of them are mobile, you know, but there's a big difference in a big advantage to your particular business is that you have a shop, you have a place where they can go. And there's some advantages also to a shop versus like a mobile detail. One of them that sticks out to me right off the top is you can't control the weather when you're a mobile detail service. So if they don't have cover and it starts pouring rain in the middle of the detail, that's not a good thing, is it?
No, you just paid for a dirty car again.
There you go. And so while the convenience is nice, you make it convenient even for them because you offer like a valet service.
Yeah,
right?
we do. We offer, we will pick your car up, we'll clean it, and we'll drop it back off to you. So,
there
you still, the convenience factor is still there.
Yeah.
You know, and another big thing, and we spoke about it when we were meeting, but is our machines.
Yeah.
So, I would have to buy an extremely large generator to push our machines, as in my shop is wired specifically for that. So our machines are made for a certain reason, and we try to get really good machines. And in that aspect, they pull a ton of power, and we also use a lot of air, you know, too. So we have air on demand. We have electrical outlets everywhere. And go wash your car outside when it's 35 degrees and tell me how fast you move and how good of a job you do, and then pull it into the garage and wash it and watch how much better of a job you do.
100%.
That's the best I'll tell you.
Yeah, and look, if you're someone that works in an office and you're going to be there all day anyway, you want maybe say just an express service. They'll pick your car up, they'll go take care of it, and 3-4 hours later it's back. And you're still in the office, so it would be as if they went outside, but they're bringing it to a controlled environment, a controlled facility, and really taking care of it and dotting all their I's and T's and all that kind of stuff. So something to keep in mind, folks, when you're looking into a detail service. Now, what would you say is your most popular package that you do offer? Is it that gold package?
Yeah, I would say probably the gold package is one of the most common ones, but we've been doing a ton of coatings lately. Yeah. And I enjoy coatings. There's a lot of people that do coatings and all that. I like to stay in true form. They say never forget where you came from.
Yeah.
You know, I was down in the trenches, man, when we started 6 years ago. Yeah. And it was one of those things. So we still do a ton of details. You know, we have maintenance customers where we go once a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have maintenance customers. We'll go every so often. it's kind of one of those things. I like to be across the board.
Yeah.
I do a little bit of everything, but I would say probably our most sold package will be our gold package. Right below it is our paint correction and glass and paint coating. They're probably neck and neck if I had to guess.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. So there you go, folks. The gold package is probably the way to go for your detail upcoming that hopefully you'll be hitting them up with. Now, anything else you want to mention on that front? And I do want to say, if you go to his Facebook, I'm going to tell you, there's even more services than what we talked about. We talked about a bunch, but no way we could cover them all. But and rest assured, if Brian if he discovers something tomorrow, that'll be part of his service. That's what I like about this guy is he's willing to do. He just eats his stuff up. He'll do what if he knows how to do it, he's going to do it.
Hey man,
and learn it and look for the education. That's right.
Enjoy what you're doing.
That's right. That's right. And you obviously do. Very educated on what you do and all that sort of thing. Can you believe we've been going 50 minutes?
Hey, look, man, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I know it. We're going to have to make this like a series.
Part 2 coming later.
That's it. You had fun, man?
Man, I had a blast. I appreciate you having me. This is the first time I've done this. And I got to say, this was actually really cool to be able to talk to someone about my business and what it is. And I mean, it's really good to get that out there.
Look, and I love doing it too. And you did well.
I appreciate that.
You did well. I mean,
you
are an old pro already, Brian.
I appreciate that.
We need to get your own podcast.
Hey, look for me right beside Jim Chapman in the future.
There you go. There you go. Now, we talked about your Facebook earlier. So where can they go? Is it at Ogles Custom Detailing on Facebook?
Correct. Yeah, it's at Ogles Custom Detailing. All my contact information is there. We're actually on Instagram too, and we're on TikTok. So
there you go, TikTok.
Oh, hey, bro,
I bet you got a good TikTok too.
Hey, you'd be amazed what you see on TikTok.
I'm telling you, boy, you sure would. I was looking through there the other day, and I'm like, man, I feel like I've lost like 500 brain cells in the last.
I'll
12
never get
minutes.
that 35 minutes back.
Because you go down that rabbit hole, you just sit there, and it's like.
I was telling you about the Oreos and mustard. I mean, who would ever?
That's right. Yeah, but. There's a TikTok where this girl suggested you eat Oreos and mustard, folks. And
she got mad because she liked it. I mean, I'm just saying that's our brain cells. We won't get back.
That's something. But yeah, check that out. And do you have a website?
We do. We actually have OglesCustomDetailing.com. I own the domain, so you can go in there, and it has our contact information.
Excellent.
It has our services that we offer. We actually offer level kits and things like that too.
Yeah.
For vehicles.
Okay.
So that's a big thing we've been doing a lot of. We have a lift kit coming in a couple of weeks. We'll be putting on a Tacoma.
Yeah.
We do a lot of other things too. So feel free if you have any questions to reach out. We'll be more than happy to we try to return to our customers as fast as we can and get back to them.
Yes.
So customer services, we really strive for good customer service as well too.
Excellent. And how would they contact you via phone if they want more information?
So if you can text or call at any time, 225-252-3761 is my number.
Yeah.
And so if you're a texter, you can text. If you want to call, you can call. Either way. As long as my minutes are free after 9, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's it. So there's some interesting ways to get in touch with OCD, Ogles Custom Detail, and get your car clean and make your car happy. Upcoming. I do want to thank everyone out there for viewing and listening to Local Leaders, a podcast. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share us on all your social media platforms. I can't tell you how much we appreciate that, how much it helps us. If you're listening to this or watching it on YouTube, hit that bell at the top. That's going to alert you when these new podcasts come out. If you enjoy the show, it's a great way to get alerted. I do want to mention LOPA, which is the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, and the drawing for over $16,000 in prizes, Brian.
Nice.
Yes, they're having a crew bash with Woody Overton of Real Life, Real Crime. We are participating participating in this, and that's where the drawing is actually going to take place. They got an $8,000 whitetail deer hunting trip as one of the prizes.
Get in on that.
Yes, we're giving away a big 110 quart Yeti cooler as well as a free podcast in that drawing as well. So there's your second one. So go get you some tickets.
I know. Let me get in. That's our part 2 right there.
Yes, that's right. So a lot of things, and every single dollar that we sell in raffle tickets is going to LOPA. Just a beautiful organization. LOPA saves lives every day here in Louisiana. And we are proud to play a part in that. I want to thank all my sponsors, including Sandra Richard, Realtor, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance, BJ Pawn, Fit Blends, Denim Springs, Black Sheep Creative, SR Enterprise Painting, Fit Body Boot Camp, and Tiffany Seacard of Hunky Mortgage. We could not do any of this without all of those folks. There's no doubt about it. If you want information on sponsoring or appearing on the show, please reach out to me at jim@localleadersthepodcast.com. Until next time, I am Jim Chapman reminding you, love your community, support local business, just like OCD over here.
That's what I'm talking about.
And keep leading. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on.